I bet you think the only way to see an archaeological dig site is to travel somewhere halfway around the world. But no, I'm in South Jersey, I'm in Mantua, and right here is a dinosaur fossil park. It's an archaeological dig site. Real live paleontologists come here and they dig for dinosaur fossils and they find them. But what's really cool is one day a week, they let students come and join in the dig. The site is 65 acres and it's run by Rowan paleontologist Dr. Ken Lacavera. He's going to show me around and teach me some things about discovering fossils in South Jersey.
Paleontologists have known for many decades that there is a collection of fossils near the bottom of this pit, a bone bed. And what we found is that a high proportion of the individuals that we find, the fossil individuals, are what we call articulated skeletons, meaning that the bones are still touching like in life position. And you won't get an articulated skeleton if they were washed in from elsewhere or if they sat on the seafloor for a long time where they'd be pulled apart by scavengers. So we know now that we have a mass death event recorded here near the end of the Cretaceous period, near the end of the time of dinosaurs.
So you're finding whole pieces of a body part? Like something I would see in the museum when they put it together, you're finding it already put together?
Absolutely. You'll see big sea turtle shells articulated, all the pieces are together. A few years ago, right over there, I found an 18-foot long crocodile that was articulated.
Get out of here.
We find some...
That was together?
Mostly, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally every minute we're finding things. Every few weeks we find something pretty good, and several times a year we find things that are absolutely spectacular.
Even though this is an active scientific dig site, Dr. Lacavera loves sharing it with students.
In June, in the last few years, we've begun to bring in grade school groups and high school groups. And the really nice thing about this quarry, we have the scientifically important layer over there that we manage very, very carefully. Okay. But above that is about 35 stratigraphic feet, 35 feet up, that contains fossils. And those fossils aren't particularly scientifically important, but they're abundant. So every kid, every citizen that comes here who tries a little bit finds a 65 million-year-old fossil with their own hands that they get to take home. I've seen it over and over and over. For children, that's a transformational experience. When they make that connection between themselves and the ancient past in the place where they live, they really start to get it.
Before the kids arrive, the grad students are already at work. It rained the night before, so there's a lot of cleanup going on. But most of their time is spent excavating that impact layer, uncovering a millimeter at a time. Chris Bakosh is a grad student. He's already started his dig.
Under here, there are thousands of fossils. We find all sorts of things.
Have you found things?
Oh yeah, fish bones, shark bones, little vertebrae, clams, oysters, snails, you name it, we find it. This right here is about 65 million years old. And this is called the Brachiopod.
Okay.
This is a clam-like species that would dig itself into the bottom of the ocean and feed down there.
Is that it, the whole thing, or is it a piece of it?
So this is what we call a Stein Kearn.
Okay.
And a Stein Kearn is a German word, and it translates to stone kernel. And basically, when you have something like a clam, over time it gets filled with sand, and then the sand compresses as it gets piled on top of, or earth piles on top of it, and what you're left is an infill of that species. So that's what we're looking at here.
And you just find these all the time?
Yeah, so we'll find them, you know, by digging through the sand like we do here.
Yeah.
You'll expose something underneath, and you'll poke around it and dig it out. But yeah, you can find things just by walking around, looking around. Dr. Lacavera, he can basically just reach into the ground and pull something out within 5 seconds.
Yeah. So have you been here when something really cool was discovered?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, they had a community day here, and there were about 150 middle schoolers.
Yeah.
And this girl's walking around, just looking around the site, and she reaches over and picks something up, and she picks up a Stingray tooth plate, which is about this big. Yeah. And we never really find those in the ground, but she found one for the first time just out around.
When she picks that up, does she know that she's finding something different?
You know, a lot of kids, they'll pick something up, they'll pick up a rock, which is clearly a rock, but because they're here at a fossil site, they'll ask you, is this a fossil?
Yeah.
And you'll say, no, that's a rock.
Yeah.
But she didn't know, and she came and asked somebody, and they were able to let her know that she found something really rare and really cool. Yeah.
Do you tell your friends what you do? I'm sure none of your friends do anything like that, except for the friends you have here.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to go home on a Friday, and when people ask what you did with your day, you'll say, "Oh, I was out digging for fossils all day." And they're like, "What? Where?"
Yeah, exactly. Where?
They really don't know that South Jersey has some great digging for fossils and paleontology sites.
Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I really had no idea how good this place was until we started digging too. But it's world class.
The real excitement of the day is when the students arrive. This year, over 8,000 students will visit the site, and there's a long waiting list of schools. When students arrive, they are split into 3 groups. 2 groups go to a workshop on South Jersey's ancient past, while the 3rd group is in the pit. They rotate throughout the day. Students love it, and why wouldn't they? This is their chance to excavate a true archaeological dig site right here in South Jersey.